Hey, what's up, folks? Hey, today we're going to talk about a strategy that can get you a substantially lower mortgage payment in a market right now. If you're looking to buy a home, but home prices are up, interest rates specifically are up, and they won't stay up forever. But how can you get into a home right now so you can lock in a home price, a lower home price, so you don't have to wait till next year when rates come down and home prices will be higher. So we're going to talk about that strategy. That strategy is called a 2-1 buy down. So it's called a 2-1 buy down. The seller has to pay for this, and that's what we're going to get into. It's not as gimmicky. It's not an adjustable rate mortgage. It's a fixed rate mortgage, and we're going to talk about that right now. So thanks for watching. My name is Ryan Wheeler with United Residential Mortgage. Let's get into the details here. So it's called a 2-1 buy down. And this is different than a permanent buy down. So everybody knows what buying points and buying rates down are. They've heard that terminology before. And that's just basically prepaid interest as well. So when you're buying points, a permanent buy down, that's paying money to buy your interest rate down lower permanently for the loan. So people ask, well, why wouldn't I do a permanent buy down instead of doing a temporary buy down? What I'm talking about. So when you do a permanent buy down, the amount that you pay will only buy down your interest rate a little bit. For example, you may pay 1 point, paying points, so you pay 1 point, might only buy your interest rate down 0.25%. So on a $300,000 loan, if the interest rate's 7% right now, and you buy a point, it buys you down 0.25%, that's gonna buy your payment down about $50. You got about 6 years before you break even, or 5 years before you break even on that. So, you know, this seller buy down is going to be a lot more useful. It's going to buy your payment down substantially more. Most people don't realize that the permanent buy down doesn't buy your rate down that far. So for example, we're going to go over an example here. This is on a $300,000 loan on a 2-1 buy down. So for example, on a 2-1 buy down on a $300,000 loan, the interest rate at 7%, right? Your payment, principal and interest before taxes, insurance, PMI, any of that stuff that you have to pay is $19.95, right? And this is before any of that, taxes, insurance. So just keep that in mind. This is only principal and interest only. Well, on a 2-1 buy down, which is what we're talking about, we've got a 2-1 buy down. So we're at $19.95. We're doing a 2-1 buy down. What's the 2 and the 1 stand for? The 2 is 2% for the first year. That means if you get a 7% interest rate on your mortgage, that year 1, your interest rate is going to be 5%, right? And then year 2, what's your interest rate going to be? 6%. So year 2, the interest rate is 6%. So year 1, you're getting an interest rate of 5% is what your payment's based on. Year 2 is going to be 7%. So on a 2-1 buy down, your mortgage is going to be $19.95 year 3 and on. So remember, it's a fixed interest rate. So year 1, that payment is actually going to be $1,610. So it's $385 cheaper. So $385 for year 1. Year 2, your payment is going to be, let's see here, $1,798. And remember, our permanent payment is $19.95. So you're now $385 cheaper for the first year, and then the second year, your payment is $196 cheaper. And I know what most of y'all are thinking, like, oh, this is crazy, this is too complicated. It's really not that complicated. I'm trying to break this down very simply. But also the seller has to pay for this. So you say, how much does this cost? Well, you basically it's simple math. You take the amount of savings for that year, and then you just multiply it, right? So you just do $385 times 12, basically. So that's going to cost you $46.14. Then you've got the $196 times 12. So that comes out to $23.56. So the total cost of the buy down is $69.70. So $7,000 basically to buy a rate down. But your payment will be almost $400 cheaper a month for the first year, and then $200 cheaper for the second year, and then it goes to the $19.95 for the rest of the life of the loan. But here's the kicker. Hear me out on this. This is where it's special. Is we know with all the technical information and data where inflation is going and economic growth in 2024 that mortgage rates will be 1% to 2% lower than where they're at now. So the likelihood of you even getting to year 2 is highly unlikely. That's why in this market in 2023, this seller buy down is a great strategy, and I would much rather somebody spend the money to do this then a permanent buy down, which like I told you, is only gonna save $50 off your payment. It's gonna cost you 1% of the loan amount. 1% will normally buy a 1/4% down, and in this case, might only be $50 a month on a $300,000 loan amount. More if the loan amount's higher, less if the loan amount's less. So it may not save you substantially in all situations. And that's case by case. You have to look at it. But in this case, so the seller pays. So instead of offering the seller a lower price on their home, why not ask them to do the seller paid buy down and then have your payment $400 a month cheaper for the first year, and then even if you get into year 2, you're $200 cheaper. But then if you get to year 3, you're going to be looking to refi. You'll refi before this, and you say, well, what if I refi before I've used year 2 that savings? Anything left over. So if you refi a month 12 and you've used all 385 of this savings a month, then you've got $23.56. That will just come off your principal when you do a refinance. So this seller pay buy down is it's called a 2-1 seller temporary buy down. 2-1 temporary buy down. It is, again, it has to be seller paid. It is a great tool, a great strategy to get into the home that you want now, so you don't wait till next year for lower rates, but higher home prices. So I hope you found this helpful, and please feel free to reach out with any questions. You can schedule a call with me at schedulewithryan.com, or you can go to my website, unitedresidential.net. There's a place to schedule a consultation there as well, or shoot me a text or phone call 270-228-0075. Thanks a lot. Thanks for watching. Hope you found this a little bit helpful.